Yo, what is up? Welcome into this Monday edition of Sentell, the hottest sports podcast in the South. The best damn sports podcast, period. I'm your host, the sensational Sentell Wiseman. Let me be the first to say, hope all of you guys had a great weekend. I didn't have such a great weekend. I was at work most of it, but it's all good. Welcome into the program again. Hey, lots going on in the world of sports. We had the NFL draft this past week. The NBA playoffs are in high gear. Got the MLB. We got the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs have been outstanding so far. Lots to dive into. I know what you people tuned into. You want to see these post-draft grades and all this other stuff. But it's like, I'm not big on giving grades. I'm going to give grades for the sake of the program. But, we really don't know. Do you really know until after? Do we really know until about 3-4 years from now? Do we really know what these players are going to be? We can project. We can use our expert so-called analysis and try to think or foresee what we think is going to happen with these players, but we don't really know what's going to happen with these players. So I got some grades here, and I'm going to go through it probably by divisions. But we also going to talk some NBA playoffs because, obviously the NBA playoffs are a huge deal. Yeah, we'll get to that. That was huge trade during the draft over the weekend as well. Pittsburgh trading one of our favorite sons, Martavis Bryant, to the Oakland Raiders. So that happened. But mostly we're going to talk about the NFL draft. And we're going to do grades, and we're going to talk, and we're going to try to break down some of what happened, who did what, who had a good draft, who had a bad draft, who made you scratch your head, what were they thinking. But again, we won't really know until about 3 or 4 years from now who actually won these drafts, who actually had great drafts. We won't know until several years from now, but we can speculate and try to guess to our best abilities. Hey, I'm going to take a shot at it today. I really don't know where to begin, where to start at. I hadn't prepared where I want to go with divisions, but I guess I'm a man who likes winners and I respect champions. So I guess I'll start with the NFC East. I guess that's where I'll start at. I'll get to you in a minute with the Dolphins. I actually like the first pick a lot. Micah Fitzpatrick, I was really high on that guy. So I would get that pick itself an A, but I'll get back to the Dolphins in just a minute when I get there. But let's start with the NFC East. And we'll go in the order in which they actually drafted in the draft. The Giants were obviously the number 2 overall pick in the draft. And to no one's surprise, they took Saquon Barkley at number 2. I knew that's what the GM would do. I think this pick was kind of locked in for a long time. Giants haven't had a running game in ages. So this is, to them, was a great pick. I like the pick. I'm not as high on Saquon Barkley as some other people are. I've seen some people has said that he's a can't-miss prospect and all this other nonsense. I'm not going to say all of that. I think the guy's really, really good, and he really fits the bill for what the New York Giants needed. Me personally, I would have drafted a quarterback, but they took Saquon Barkley with their first pick. Great pick for them. With their second pick in the second round, they took Will Hernandez, this guard from UTEP. And if you haven't seen this guy play, turn on the tape. He is just a road grader of an offensive lineman. He is nasty. He is mean. Got to get better in the pass pro, but for as a run blocking guard, this might be one of the best run blocking guards in the draft for a long time. He is really that good. I thought in the third round they reached a little bit for Lorenzo Carter. They needed edge help to replace JPP, but I like Lorenzo Carter. I think he's a really good player. But I think where they got him, they probably could have got him later. But overall, I thought the Giants did a really good job in the draft of addressing needs, fits. So I gave him a B plus. So I gave the Giants a B plus overall. I thought they did a good first year GM Dave Gettleman, who comes over from Carolina Panthers. I thought they did a good job. So I gave him a B plus. Moving on, the Washington Redskins were the next. They had the 13th overall pick. They took Daron Payne. My mock draft, I had the Redskins taking Daron Payne because they had the 32nd ranked rush defense in the NFL. So what do? You get your big, stout D tackle who's against the run, and Daron Payne certainly fits that bill. I thought they got a steal at 59 getting Darius Geis. If you watch the show majority of the last football season, I was very high on Darius Geis. I even put Darius Geis as right there with Saquon Barkley as a running back ability-wise. And for them to get him at 59 overall, I thought that was really good for Washington. Then the tackle, Jerron Christian from Louisville, really good tackle, graded out very well. I like the Sean Dion Hamilton pick from the linebacker from Alabama in the 6th round. So I gave him a B minus. I thought it was okay. I thought they definitely addressed the need with Daron Payne. Definitely need to get a run stopping D tackle in there for sure. And the Dallas Cowboys, they had the 19th pick in the draft. They took Leighton Vander Esch, the linebacker from Boise State. Now, I like this kid, so don't make me – I don't want to be the guy. I like this kid. I actually had him going I think I had him going to the Steelers in my mock draft, which is like the 20s, somewhere in the middle 20s. I just think the Cowboys at 19 definitely had a needed receiver, definitely had a needed defensive line. They needed a linebacker eventually because Sean Lee is getting older. Jalen Smith, we don't quite know if he's ever going to be the same after his knee injury. This guy only has one really good year. He was a walk-on, and he tested well at the combine, but he only has one good year of film. So I thought this was a really dicey pick. I mean, I thought there were other really good players that that could come in and contribute, and that you can basically count on this guy going to be here for a while. Then they went and got, at the 50th pick, Connor Williams, a tackle from Texas, had slid down most draft boards. They're talking about moving him to guard. I don't know how well that's going to work out at all. The 3rd round, they took Michael Gallup, the wide receiver from Colorado State. Again, needed a receiver. Could have got one earlier and then got back here and settled for this guy in the 3rd round. So overall, I wasn't impressed with the draft. It wasn't that great. It wasn't horrible. So you know what you do with that. You give it a C. So, on to the defending champs. Not a whole lot of picks. Obviously, they traded a lot of picks away in the Carson Wentz deal. But in the 2nd round, to get one of the better tight ends in the draft, most people had this guy as the best tight end. I had him as the 3rd best tight end, but a lot of people had him as the 1st, at least 2nd best tight end, and that's Dallas Goedert, the tight end from South Dakota State. So they get him to pair him with Zach Ertz. Thought he did good there. A couple of other little potential picks. They got some projection type guys, some Maddox, the cornerback from Pittsburgh. Josh Sweat, I'm sure you heard his name, Florida State defense end, kind of never really lived up to his hype out of high school. So I just look at that. But this team don't have a lot of needs. So, you add in players and you just trying to get depth. So I gave him a C minus. I gave him a C minus. So that's the NFC East. And we'll get to the rest as we go out through the show. If you want to call in right now, the lines are already open. 864-378-5943. 864-378-5943. We're talking NFL draft, NBA playoffs. I just went through the NFC East grades, and I'll just kind of keep going through them at random as I see fit. Somebody asked about the Dolphins. So, being a man that I am, I wasn't going to go to the AFC East right this moment, but I will since he asked about the Dolphins. I got AFC East right in front of my face. Hey, AFC East, you know. And I'll start with the Dolphins. They had the number 11 overall pick, and they took Minkah Fitzpatrick. I thought that was a home run pick, given where they got him, because most people thought that he would be gone by now. I just think he's just an outstanding football player. I just think you can line him up anywhere on your defense. He's gonna know where to be at. He's gonna make plays. He's gonna be smart. He's just a really good football player. I like him a lot. At number 42, I thought they got a really good player in Mike Gesicki, the tight end from Penn State. Liked him all season. He's immune to blocking, but he's a really good receiving tight end, which most teams in the NFL now they really want that mismatch. They want a guy that can flex out a little bit. So I like him at 42. And at 73 overall, I thought they got a really good player in Jerome Baker at linebacker for Ohio State. Sideline to sideline linebacker. They needed a linebacker. Some help, some depth there with McMillan coming back. Not a whole lot of depth outside of him at the linebacker spot. So you get Baker. I like that pick. Not a big names after that. Some guys that you probably never heard of. So I gave him a B. I mean, like I said, the Minkah Fitzpatrick alone is an A. And I like Gesicki and I like Baker. So I gave him a B. So for the Miami Dolphins fans out there who asking, I gave them a B overall. Let's see. Let's go to the Jets. The Jets. Jets. I thought the Jets, one pick alone, getting Sam Darnold at number 3. Most people had him as the best quarterback prospect in the draft. I didn't have him number 1. I didn't have him 1. He might have been 2 or 3. I didn't have him 1. Everybody knows who I had my number 1 quarterback in the draft. Well, I think most people know who I had. But getting Sam Darnold, who most projected is the best quarterback in the draft at 3, when they made the trade, didn't think they would be able to get him. So now you get Sam Darnold, who instantly becomes probably the best quarterback on their roster. And I mean that, I don't mean that, half-heartedly. He's the best quarterback on their roster right now. I like that pick. Nathan Shepard out of Fort Hays State, a D lineman. Don't know a whole lot about him. He played at Fort Hays State, so I don't know much about him. Not a whole lot of star power in this class other than Sam Darnold, but I gave him a B just because of Sam Darnold pick. I thought that was worthy of having a B because you got arguably the best quarterback in the draft according to most people. The Buffalo Bills. They had the number 7 overall pick, and they took quarterback Josh Allen. That's who I projected the Bills to get in my mock draft. I thought it was a perfect fit. You out there in Wyoming in the middle of nowhere, so now you go to Buffalo, which is in the middle of nowhere. And it's a cold weather city. I thought it's a big, strong, strapping young man. I thought Buffalo suits him really well. And he doesn't have to play right away. They can try they just traded for a quarterback from Cincinnati. Oh, A.J. McCarron. They just traded for A.J. McCarron. And so he could sit, learn a little bit. But I thought this was a good fit for Josh Allen. Buffalo needed a quarterback, obviously. At 16 overall, though, they get Tremaine Edmonds, who, I mean, I got to tell you, a lot of people had this guy the top 5 overall player in the draft. To get him at 16, I thought that was outstanding. They got a D lineman from Stanford, Harrison Phillips. He was a really good player, top 100 player. They got him at 96. They got Raymond McLeod. If Clemson people are interested, they picked up Raymond McLeod in the 6th round. I thought they could have. This is why I only gave him a B, because they needed receiver help, and they actually did not get a receiver into the 6th round. So I don't know what they were thinking, not getting a receiver before then, because the receiver class was already weak. I thought they could address the receiver need. That's why I gave him a B. I mean, I gave him a B. Anytime you get a quarterback, not knowing if you're going to pound or not, but anytime you draft a quarterback, because if you get the quarterback right, you're going to be right. So I gave him a B. And we come to the New England Patriots. I thought the Patriots had a decent draft. I thought the first 3 picks, they really got need positions, players they had to replace. They had to replace Nate Solder. They needed a running back. Deion Lewis is gone. They needed probably another cornerback. Malcolm Butler left in free agency, so they went Isaiah Wynn, the tackle from Georgia, who I thought I had him in the first round, and some people think he's more of a guard than a tackle, so we shall see how that works out. They picked up Sonny Michel, running back from Georgia. I like Michel, and he'll fit perfectly with the Patriots system. He won't be a 25 carry type guy, but in a given week, he can give you 15 touches out the backfield and maybe 5 more as a receiver. So, 20 touches for Sony. And they got Duke Dawson, the quarterback from Florida, very versatile. You can move him inside, outside. Something Bill Belichick likes to have, a guy who can do a lot of things in secondary. So I thought they did okay early on. And then they got Braxton Berrios, the little white receiver from Miami. So we could all speculate that's what he was going to go to the Patriots. He'll fit right in with the Patriots. I mean, he would be Julian Edelman or Danny Amendola's replacement. There you go, Berrios. There you go, Braxton Berrios from Miami. So I gave the Patriots a B-. So that is the AFC East. Oh, lines are open, 864-378-5943, 864-378-5943. Your thoughts on the draft, players, moves that make you scratch your head, who you thought had a great draft, NBA playoffs. Got a game tonight. So if you want to talk any way you want to go with that, we can. I'll just keep on moving through my draft. Let's see. I'll go NFC South. Let's see. NFC South. Okay. Let's start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had the number 12th overall pick, and they took Vita Vea, the D tackle from Washington. I just love this kid's tape. He is just a grown man against the run. He's stout. It's hard to get A's around here in a draft. That means when you give out an A, that means you have to have like at least 4 rounds of what I think is quality players that are gonna come in and contribute right away. Not some of these guys. Some of these guys are projects, not guys you plugging and playing right now. I mean, I think I might have 1 A in here, maybe 2 A's. I'm not giving you A's off of star power. I like the depth of your class. Did you hit all your needs? Can these guys come in and help you? And again, it's so hard because you're not gonna know for several years if any of these guys were any good. So the grading thing is like, I'm grading because I have this show, so I have to grade because people expect me. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what all the analysts do. They do grades, So this is why I'm doing this. Bucks start Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm in the NFC South right now. Vita Vea, again, I love this kid's tape. Get him at 12. One of the best players in the draft. I thought they got a really good pick at 38. Ronald Jones, the second running back from Southern Cal. Now, he slipped down the draft board a little bit because he didn't run as well at the combine as people thought he would. But if you turn on the tape, he's a really good natural runner of the ball. I like Ronald Jones. I love it. At 53, they got MJ Stewart, cornerback from UNC. Long physical cornerback. I like him a lot. Can cover. They needed cornerbacks. They needed help back in the secondary. They got him. Then they went and picked another cornerback in the second round, Carlton Davis, big physical corner from Auburn. I like him a lot. Got to get better. Finding the ball, locating the ball at high point. But he big, physical, can get mean with you. And then so I thought they had 4 really good picks. So that's why I gave him a B+. I thought they had really 4 good picks. They picked up needs. They needed a running back for sure. They needed a D-line help. They put beside Jerry McCoy. They got it. And they got 2 decent corners. I like both the corners that they picked up. So the Bucks got a B+. to your chagrin. The Saints are up next tonight. They traded up. They were in the back of the draft. Obviously, they was a playoff team, but they traded up all the way to 14. They traded up next year's number 1 pick to get all the way up to number 14 And with the number 14 pick, they took Marcus Davenport. Now, this kid is raw. He's athletic. It's a physical presence. It's a big kid. But it's raw, not technically sound yet. So, come from a small school. So, it's interesting to see what they saw in Marcus Davenport. They needed an edge rusher. I think they had the high sack man on the team had 8 last year. So, they definitely needed a pass rusher to help. I forget the guy's name. I can't think of his name. Is it Hayward? I think it Cam Hayward, I think. But that's all the true legit pass rusher that they had. So they needed a pass rusher. They traded up 14 to get him. Okay. They took Traquan Smith, a nice little receiver from UCF. Had a big year last year. Thought he did good there. Rick Leonard, Florida State offensive lineman in the 4th round. Natrell Jamison, Wisconsin safety. Not a whole lot of bang, but this again is a playoff team, so they just building depth, and they don't have as many needs, but they hit their need. But with that, I gave them a C- because they traded a first pick next year, so this guy has to pan out. So this guy has to be really good because they traded a first-round pick. Those things like gold, and they traded it for this guy that played at UT San Antonio. So he has to be what they think he's going to be to validate them trading the first-round pick. I gave him a C- too. At 24, the Carolina Panthers. I think we all knew. I said in my mock draft, playmakers. Both mock drafts that I've done with the Carolina Panthers, I had receivers. I think I had Christian Kirk in one, and maybe Sutton in the other. But in the first round, at the 24 pick, they get DJ Moore, receiver out of Maryland. Most people thought he was the best receiver in the draft. And it was arguable. Obviously, you had Calvin Ridley as well, but most people went back between DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Sutton, Christian Kirk. So just a kind of little debate going on between those guys. But they got DJ Moore, who's a game breaker, who can absolutely run, got decent size. They had to get a receiver. So we all knew they was going to receiver. But they needed a receiver, they needed cornerbacks. And so the 55th pick, they went and took Dante Jackson from LSU, who I like a lot. He ran a 4.34 at the combine. Doesn't have a prototypical size, but he got enough size. And then they went and took another cornerback from Tennessee, Rashawn Golden, in the 3rd round. So I think they addressed need, which was receiver and cornerback, because they had to replace Worley, which they traded. So I thought they got better. I gave them a B, because they addressed the needs, and they got 2 really good players. I like Jackson a lot, and I love DJ Moore, and even Steve Smith. Steve Smith had high praise for Moore. He thought Moore could come in and actually replace him. So, hey, if he does that, hats off to him. So I gave the Panthers a B. The Atlanta Falcons, at 26, they took Calvin Ridley. I mean, I know it's a flashy pick. Everyone's going to be like, that's great. Add to this explosive offense already with Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu and Tevin Coleman and I'm drawing a blank. Austin Hooper, the tight end. Devontae Freeman, slipped my mind. I didn't think this was a big need. I mean, it's great value to get Calvin Ridley at 26, but I think they had more needs, especially across the D-line. I thought they could use a D-lineman. But they did get Isaiah Oliver in his 52nd round. I like him. Big, long cornerback. Got some good size. Can run a little bit. I liked him a lot. Didn't do a whole lot after that, after those 2 picks. Got some developmental guys down the end. So I gave him a C. It was just all right for me. It was just okay. It was okay. It wasn't that spectacular. It was okay. It was okay. So 3 down, 5 more to go. 864-378-5943. 864-378-5943. If you want to get in on this draft, breaking down the draft, post-draft grades, whatever you want to call it, however you want to do it. But you can talk about NBA as well, because after I do the next team, I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs, because I want to talk a little bit about that. But let's see. What division should I go to next? Division. I'll go AFC South. Let's go AFC South. Let's go AFC South. AFC South, which shouldn't take long. The Colts had the 6th pick in the draft, and I thought they got the best player in the draft. I thought they got the best player in the draft, the most safe. I'll say the safest player because he don't have a ceiling, but the safest, best prospect out there. Quentin Nelson, guard from Notre Dame. This is a guy you could just plug and play from day one. You could just put him in there and you can lock him in there for 10. You can count him in for the next 10, 12 years. Barring injuries, you can count him in for 10. Yeah. Let me answer. Let me get through it. This is how I answer that question. So the Colts got Quentin Nelson at 6, the guard from Notre Dame. At 36, they took Darius Leonard, linebacker from South Carolina State. At 37, when they had back-to-back picks, they got Braden Smith, the guard from Auburn. Another second-round pick, they got Kamiko Toure, Rutgers. At another second-round pick, 64 overall, they got Tyquan Lewis out of Ohio State. And I love this pick. This is one of my favorite players in the draft. This is one of my favorite players. At number 104, 4th round, they got Naheem Hines, the running back from N State. I love this kid. Undersized running back, but he can do a lot of things with the ball in his hand. I like him a lot. So, even with all these picks, I gave him a B minus. So, I like the Nelson pick, but you get 4 second-round picks. So, hopefully some value come out of these guys. So I gave him a B minus. Tennessee Titans. They had number 22nd pick overall, and they took Rashaan Evans, linebacker from Alabama. I thought they needed inside linebacker help. They addressed that. I also thought they needed an edge rusher because in my mock draft in the first round, I had them taking Harold Landry. They get him in the second round, so that's great value to get Harold Landry in the second round. They obviously didn't have a whole lot of picks because they made the trade a few years ago for Marcus Mariota, so they don't have a ton of draft picks. So I gave them a C minus. Rashaan Evans, Harold Landry. Field needs, but it's a playoff team, so you don't need as much as a lot of other teams. So I thought they did good hitting the 2 needs that I for sure know they need to have. We'll go Houston because they again, one of these teams who traded up last year, didn't have a ton of picks, didn't have their first pick into the 3rd round, and they took Justin Reed, the safety from Stanford, who's also the brother of Eric Reed, safety formerly of the 49ers, who hasn't got a job yet, and I think we all know why. They really didn't get a whole lot. They had actually a few 3rd-round picks. They got Martinez Rankin, guard, center from Mississippi State. Actually a good player. Jordan Atkins, the tight end from UCF. And other than that, not a whole lot of people you would recognize. I gave him a D. Obviously, not having a pick to the 3rd round is not ideal. That's never what you want to be doing. You never want to be picking hit 3rd round, but you make the trade for the franchise quarterback. You get the quarterback right, everything else is going to fall into place. Everything else is going to be good. So, had I saw for them. And we move on to the division champs, Jacksonville Jaguars. They had the number 29 pick overall. They got Taven Bryant from Florida. I thought that's a great value pick because most people had him going in the top 20 of the draft. So you get him at 29 with an already stacked D-line. He can come in and be a rotational player, keep some guys fresh, and then he can himself give you a lot. So I thought great value for Jacksonville. Once again, one of these teams that's in the playoffs who's just adding depth, don't have a lot of big, huge needs. I thought they could have got a cornerback in this draft, a nickel corner, but it's all good. At 61, they got DJ Chalk, the Blazer from LSU. Not a whole lot of yardage, but a lot of big play potential. Of course, you play at LSU, so not the best quarterback play, so we don't know how good he actually is. We don't really know how good this kid is because he didn't play with nobody. They got Ronnie Harrison at 93 overall, the safety from Alabama. If you turn his tape on, you know what he's about. He just around the football, and he will he'll stick his nose in the fan, as they say. Thumper, like him a lot. Will Richardson, old tackle from NC State, okay player. Again, just a swing tackle. Cause I thought they would get a tackle in my mock draft. I haven't taken a tackle, so because they could use some depth on the offensive line. But I gave him a C+. I thought the Taven Bryan pick was good at where you got him at. DJ Chalk, we'll see. More of a developmental type player, but we shall see. Got the speed. That is the AFC South. So 4 down and 4 to go. I'll get back to that in a few minutes. Let's see. Most surprising pick. I think most people are still surprised that Baker Mayfield went number 1 overall. I think to me that's still the most surprising pick. I'm still surprised, and I'll stick with Cleveland because I think the 2 biggest surprises are probably Cleveland. First, taking Baker Mayfield. I knew he was going first round. I even had him going to the Jets at 3, but I still couldn't see them passing up Darnold at 1. I'm shocked at that. Not that I don't like Baker. And then they took Denzel Ward, which in my mock, I hadn't taken Denzel Ward, but I also had Bradley Chubb off the board by then. To pass up Bradley Chubb to take Denzel Ward, again, that's surprising. So those are 2 surprises picked to me, both by the Browns. I couldn't believe they took Baker Mayfield at 1. I still don't believe it. I heard the rumors all that day, and until I heard him say Baker Mayfield, I still cannot believe they took Baker Mayfield in that draft at 1. And number 4, they took Denzel Ward over Bradley Chubb. Best value pick. I think I went through some of these already. I think Micah Fitzpatrick at 11. I don't think you call it value, but most people had him going in the top 10. I'll say Tremaine Edmonds at 16. Most people had him as a top 5 overall player. So for him to go to 16, yeah. That's pretty good. That's definitely value, and I can get into a few more as I go through these things. But those 2 right offhand jump out to me: Micah Fitzpatrick, Tremaine Edmonds going 16th, kind of jump out to me. Favorite pick for my team. My favorite pick of my team, which is the 49ers, obviously. My favorite pick. You know what? I'll probably go Dante Pettis. He had a great year 2 years ago. He caught 15 TD passes 2 years ago. He didn't have as great a season last year. But I like Pettis. I like what he brings to the table. We needed a receiver. It's a need position. He got some wheels, even though he didn't run at the combine, so I don't know exactly what his 40 times are. I like that pick. But we got some quality players. I like Fred Warner's a really good inside linebacker. He's all over the field. You can put him with Reuben Foster. You have something there. I think Kentavious Street can be a really good player. Most people forget about him on NC State D-line because of Bradley Chubb, and he got injured, but he can get out there. So I'll say Dante Pettis is my favorite, just because we need some receiver help. And I think he can be explosive, especially in Shanahan's offense. Deion Kane, 6th round. I'm not that big on Deion Kane. Nah, I'm not that big. But to get him in the 6th round, because I'm sure. To get Deion Kane in the 6th round, because I'm sure at the beginning of the season, when he left high school to go to Clemson, if you told him he would be a 6th round pick, he would have laughed at you. This guy was highly recruited. I think he was a 5-star kid out of high school. Even after his first 2 years at Clemson, you'd have never thought he was a 6th round pick. So you're right. That could be some great value for the Colts at 6. I'm not a huge fan of Kane. He's really haven't showed me anything other than deep ball skills. He doesn't seem like he can run the route tree. I could be wrong. His hands are way more than suspect. I'm not that huge fan of Deion Kane, but if he could, you know, live up to some of that potential that he showed coming out of high school early on at Clemson, yeah, 6th round, yeah, that's great value. But we don't know what Kane is. Switching gears a little bit, 4 down, got 4 down, 4 to go in these draft grades. But let's switch gears. Let's go to NBA a little bit. Playoffs have been they've been fantastic. They always are. Yesterday, it was a game 7. We had the Cavaliers. They defeated the Pacers 105-101. LeBron was LeBron. He had 45, 9, and 7. The rest of his stars had 43 combined points. And this was a good day. This was a good day. This is what the national media and all other Bron haters said. He got help. This is what help is. This is what help is for Bron. He got 43 points for the rest of the starters. This is a good day. This is what help looks like. This is help. But he was sensational. He was outstanding. They win. We'll get back to them in just a few minutes. Also, yesterday the Rockets defeated the Jazz in Game 1 of their Western Conference Series, 110-96. James Harden, who's been spectacular all season, 41-8-7. And it was an easy 41-8-7. It didn't look hard to get 41-8-7. This is going to be a rough series for Utah. They're going to be outclassed. They don't have enough guys that can put the ball in the basket to hang with this offensive juggernaut. This team moves the ball, finds open shooters, and most of their guys can knock down threes. I mean, they have a plethora of guys who can knock down the 3 ball. This is not going to end well for the Jazz. I say 4-1. I'm not going to say they get swept. I'll give them 4-1. I'll be respectful. I'll go 4-1 Houston in that series. Let's see. The other series, the Warriors defeated the Pelicans in their first game the other day, 123-101. Warriors were led by Draymond Green, who was outstanding the other night. 16 points, 15 rebounds, 11 assists. He played great defense on Anthony Davis, had him to 21-10. I don't know how much he was on the whole game, but from the parts I saw, this is one of the best Draymond Green games I saw. He was sensational. He kind of just led the way. They kind of followed. He led. They kind of followed. Clay had a big game, 22 points, I believe. Durant, scoring wise, did what he did, but I thought Draymond kind of set the tone. So the Warriors lead 1-0, and tonight we have the beginning of a huge series. A rivalry renewed in the NBA Eastern Conference. The 76ers take on the Boston Celtics. Celtics are your 2 seed. 76ers are your 3 seeds. The 76ers dismantled the Miami Heat in 5 games. Once Embiid came in, they looked unstoppable. But again, Miami is not that good. So let's pump the brake before we throw up a raid for the Sixers. Miami is not that good. That's a news alert. Miami is not that good. They were not that good. The Celtics took 7 games to beat the Bucks, but obviously we all know that the Celtics are banged up. No Kyrie. Gordon Hayward been out all season. Now Jaylen Brown's hurt. Marcus Smart has been banged up. So they just not whole, but they had the best coach in the NBA. Brad Stevens he is a true basketball coach. Most of these guys just roll the ball out, but this guy is a coach, and he's really, really good at what he does. It should be an interesting series. If the Celtics were healthy, I would give them the edge with their experience, because having Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, but they don't have enough. I think the Sixers, they're hungry, they coming, they look really, really good. Who's gonna guard Simmons? Who's gonna guard Embiid for the Celtics? They are really undersized. Al Horford is gonna have a long, long series, and then they count on him to score for the Celtics. So him having to defend Embiid is gonna take away from his scoring. So I'll take the Sixers. I'll take the Sixers in 6. I'll give Boston 2 games. I respect Brad Stevens, so I'll give him 2 games. Never James Simmons. I'll let my cat eat out of it. But let's get. I want to get back to a couple things in the NBA. Let's get back to Friday night. Not the Warriors, but the Utah Jazz. Obviously, they defeated the OKC Thunder. But the bigger outline is that first of all, OKC got eliminated in the first round with the reigning MVP Russell Westbrook, with playoff P. How dare you call yourself playoff P? Paul George, with a Carmelo Anthony, with a Steven Adams, and they get bounced in the first round by the Utah Jazz. If you didn't see the game, Russell Westbrook, and y'all know, I am the biggest Russell supporter. I've been with Russell since he left UCLA. I was banging that drum a long time ago. Russell took 43 shots Friday night, 18 of 43, and he took 19 threes, 7 of 19 from the field. Carmelo had 7 points, 3 rebounds, no assists. Playoff P, the aforementioned playoff P, went 2 of 16 for 5 whole points. So I posed the question, and I'll answer it too. What's next for OKC? What's next? Paul George is not staying. Melo is a shell of himself, but he refuses to admit that. I had a quote from him the other day saying that he's not going to come off the bench. So there's a headache. That's one headache, but I think the biggest headache, obviously, is Paul George is going to leave. I just think, and I hate to say these words, but I'm going to say this. As long as Russell Westbrook continues to play and be the player that he currently is, he would never, ever win a championship. Ever. Would never win a championship like this. Ever. And the thing about it, he definitely never going to win one at OKC because no free agent wants to go to OKC. He had a chance to try and convince Paul George to stay in OKC. But as the season went along and as it ended, there's no way Paul George is coming back to play with OKC. There's no way. He's not coming back. But they probably need a new coach. I like Billy Donovan, but I think he's in over his head a little bit. But this style just is not gonna win. It's not conducive to winning anything. He can keep all the triple doubles. He can do all of those great things. He's a really great player. I love him to death. But they're not winning anything. Russell Westbrook is not winning anything playing the way he plays. Ever. He's never going to win playing like this. And he's not going to be able to attract free agents to come to a city that no one wants to go to anyway. And their best player takes 43 shots. 43 shots. 43 shots in a game. How much energy must that take to take 43 shots? How much energy must that take to take 43 shots in a game? I think it's over for. If I'm OKC, I may even think about moving this guy. You're never gonna get anybody to come. All you're gonna do is get to the playoff with Russ and lose in the first round. That's all you're gonna do. All you're gonna do is get to the first round and lose. Now you're not gonna have no way to get no free agent to come here and play with this guy. Not no big name free agents. They're not coming. They're not gonna come. Durant left, which is a red flag in itself. Now Paul George is about to leave. So no free agents are gonna see that and think, well, I want to go play with that guy. So I think they're in trouble as an organization. So Sam Presti, who's making a lot of great moves in his tenure. Now you look at Victor Oladipo, who you traded for Paul George. Look how well Oladipo playing. Now contrast that to last year when he played with Russell. Look at the numbers, and then look at the numbers with him without Russell. So something's amiss here. So I just can't see it. I don't know what the Thunder are gonna do, but going forward, Russell is not. They're not winning nothing. He's not winning nothing playing like that. It's not winning nothing playing that way. That's no way to play. If you want to join that conversation, you want to talk about Russell and what's the Thunder's next move? 864-378-5943. 864-378-5943. If you want to talk about OKC and the Thunder's NBA playoffs. All of that good stuff. I'm gonna move on. I'm talking about the Cavs a little bit, cause I know y'all. I know the LeBron haters don't want me to talk about LeBron, and I ain't gonna spend a whole lot of time talking about the greatness of LeBron because it needs no mentioning. We understand. Most of us understand. I know some of you guys hate so much that you have to keep sticking to your hate because you took this position a long time ago. So therefore, you have to stick to your hate. Regardless of what your eyes tell you, you have to stick to your hate. So I get it. But this guy this guy averaged 42 points in the series. And in the 4 wins, they won by a combined total of 14 points. He averaged 42 points in the wins. And they won the 4 games by a combined 14 points. So, I said before the playoffs started, I said most of the season, in order for the Cavs to get to the finals, which nobody's beating Golden State if Steph Curry healthy. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Nobody's beating Golden State, so that's neither near here or there. But in order for the Cavs to get to the finals, I said that Kevin Love would have to consistently be a 20-10 guy. Someone has to replace the 25 points a night that Kyrie Irving was going to give you in the playoffs. Kevin Love media told me yesterday, the media said Kevin Love had his best game of the series and helped LeBron win and close the series out. That's what the media told me. Some even said Kevin Love saved the Cavaliers yesterday. That's what some people said. That some people suggested that Kevin Love saved the Cavs yesterday. People said that. Kevin Love had 14 points yesterday. 14. He had 14 points. And there are people suggesting Kevin Love saved the Cavs yesterday. 14 points. Now, I'm going to, in this series, 7 games, and I counted yesterday because I want to be nice. 7 games in the series. This is what Kevin Love averaged in this 7-game series. Second best player on the team. 11 points, 9 rebounds, and he shot 33% from the field. Let me say that again. He averaged 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 33% from the field. In the regular season, he averaged 17.6. I'm on 18, 9 points a game, but he shot 45% from the field, including 41% from the 3-point line. Which he still needed, which most players, great players, when they get to playoff, they raise their level of play. They get better. So I would expect these numbers to go from 18 to 20, 21 in the playoffs, from 9.3 to 10 or 11. No, that is not what's happening. He was averaging 8 points less than he averaged in the regular season. 8. Now, this guy is making $22 million, almost $23 million a season. $23 million don't get you what it used to get you. $23 million. Let that sink in. He averaged 11 points. This is why I'm hard on this guy. He averaged 11 points a game, making $23 million. Let me give you a list of the people he make more money than in the NBA right now. Greek Freak. Giannis. He makes more money than Greek Freak. LaMarcus Aldridge. The guy who they just played against, who had a great series, Victor Oladipo. He makes money than the aforementioned Paul George, playoff P. He makes more money than him. He makes more money than Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, DeMarcus Cousins, and Klay Thompson. But we asking too much for him to show up in these playoffs. Absolutely not. His paycheck suggests that he should average 20 and 10 a game. He should raise his level of play. And if he plays this way again in this series against Toronto, the Cavs getting beat. They're getting beat. LeBron, he's superhuman. He is special. And I still got him coming out of the East because that's how much I respect him. That's how much I think of him as a basketball player, because he overcomes this garbage like this all the time. But if Kevin Love's only going to average 11 points, and let me look at these stats. Okay, the 4 wins that Cleveland had. LeBron versus the rest of the 4 starters in the 4 wins that they had. Game 2, he outscored his starters 46-38. Game 5, he outscored them 44-36. And in Game 7, he outscored them 45-43. If Kevin Love only going to average 11 points against Toronto, they're not winning the series. And I expect them to play better. I expect the rest of the role players to play a whole lot better. A lot of them guys never been in this situation, so they struggled a little bit. But as the second best player on the team, as a $23 million player, I don't think it's too much to ask to at least get to your average that you average in the regular season, which is 17.6. Can't be around 11. Can't be. Kyle Korver cannot be your best player. And for periods of the series, Kyle Korver was their second best player. Let that sink in for a moment. Kyle Korver, for periods in the series, was the Cavs' second best player. That cannot ever be the case. Under no circumstances can Kyle Korver be your second best player. None. Still got the Cavs come out of the East because LeBron is just all-time great. All-time great for all you LeBron haters that I know exist that are out there watching right now. He's an all-time great. He should be treated as such. He should be spoken upon as such. I don't understand how this works. Like, I can appreciate 2 people at one time. 2 things can be true. Michael, Kobe were great players, but LeBron is also great. And it's not, you don't have to try and knock LeBron down at every turn to build up Michael, to build up Kobe. Those guys are all-time greats. They are all-time greats. I ain't gonna call LeBron is more transcendent than Kobe, but he's an all-time great. Kobe's an all-time great. But this need to knock down LeBron at every turn it's just almost sickening. It's very sickening. I'm not gonna let you do it on my watch. Not on my watch. Not right here. You're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna let you do it. Man, just averaged 42 points a game and 11 rebounds, 9 assists. In the wins of the series. I mean, what are we talking about? What are we talking about here? All right. 864-378-5943. 864-378-5943. That was my little tangent rant today. But I started off on, let's go back to the NFL draft. I started out doing grades. I got through 4 conferences, 4 divisions, NFC East, NFC South, AFC South, and I went AFC East. So I'm going to go right into the AFC North and continue with these draft grades. Because I know you people care about these things so much. Let's start the Cleveland Browns. I should have started with them. They actually started the draft, that number 1 overall pick in the draft. And At number one, which surprised me, they took Baker Mayfield. Like the kid a lot. And you know me, I beat the drum because I always tell you I like production over potential. I always say that. That's why Deshaun Watson should have clearly been the number one pick in the draft. We had saw him produce. We had saw him play on the big stage. We had saw him beat some of the best teams. We saw it with our own eyes. We saw it. But yet we want to draft guys that played 8-9 games that look the part, and that's why we have people getting fired, and GMs and coaches getting fired every other year. But I wouldn't have drafted Baker number one. Not sure I would even drafted him in the first round. Not even sure if I would have done that. That's just me. And my knock, other than the off the field stuff, there's only been 2, maybe 3 good quarterbacks, 6'1" or under. Drew Brees, Russell Westbrook. And if you want to say Mike Vick was kind of successful, he was successful. He got banged up a lot, and he was a super athlete. This guy's nowhere near the athlete. He can throw it now. He can spin it. But I worry about his height. We shall see. I mean, like I said, again, he produced at the highest level. But a knock that I have, again, competition. If you look at the NFL draft, and I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain, but I'll have to make sure and double check. I'm almost certain that no Big 12 players other than Baker Mayfield were taken in the first round. I'm almost certain of this. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on this, but I don't think there was a Big 12 player took in the first round of the NFL draft other than Baker Mayfield. So that scares me. Those defenses generally are not really good defenses. You look at the quarterbacks who have come out of the Big 12 the last few years. Sam Bradford, same Oklahoma quarterback. What's the kid name? Blaine Gabbert was at Missouri when they were in the Big 12. No. So that a ton of things scare me about this kid. You know, the size, that system, playing against those weak defenses in the Big 12. But I like him. I like his I like his bravado. I like all of that. And Cleveland may need this. And I think this is what happened and why they took Baker Mayfield over Sam Darnold. At the end of the day, I think they thought Sam Darnold was just another guy. He didn't bring any pizzazz to the position. And Cleveland, let's face it, they need some energy. They need some pizzazz in the organization because they have won 1 game in 2 seasons. So if you're gonna lose, let's lose with some flavor. So let's get Baker because he's gonna energize the fan base. Sam Darnold would have been the politician pick. He would have been the nice guy, kiss the baby type guy. He would have been the corporate guy. He would have said did all the right things. This guy might not say or do all the right things. So, hey, swing and you miss. So they took Baker. You have any thoughts on the Browns taking Baker? 864-378-5943, 378-5943. The rest of the draft for the Browns, questionable stuff in there. They took Denzel Ward at 4, which I like Denzel Ward a lot, and I had him in the mock draft going at 4. I did. But I also didn't know that Bradley Chubb would be there at 4. I didn't know Bradley Chubb would be there at 4. And I just, it's hard for me to pass up Bradley Chubb there at 4. Again, this class was full of cornerbacks, but not full of edge rushers. And there was one supreme elite edge rusher in this class, and he was on the board at 4, and they passed. We shall see. At number 33 overall, they took Austin Corbett, the guard from Nevada. I thought they reached. I didn't have him rated high as some of the other guards in this draft, and they took him. They could have got the guy the Giants took, Hernandez. Instead, they took this guy. So reach. And for the 35th pick, they took Nick Chubb out of Georgia. Not totally knocking the pick, but you probably could have got better value at another position at 35. There was some other running backs later on. You probably could have got him later. You probably could have got Chubb later. Then they tried to go to the edge rush and got Chad Thomas from Miami, who never lived up to his hype. And the one at 105, fourth round, 105 is just one I just cannot simply believe. They took Antonio Callaway, the receiver from Florida. Now, if you know anything about the Browns' history, they have a receiver on their team. His name is Josh Gordon. And for those of you who don't know about Josh Gordon, he's been in and out of trouble since he's been in the league, and mostly due to the fact that he can't stay off the weed, as someone famously quoted. And this guy that is just drafted, Antonio Callaway, has been in trouble since he's been at Florida and has multiple marijuana violations, and including at the combine testing positive for marijuana. And they drafted him in the fourth round. He also didn't even play last season. So I thought that was a very questionable pick at 4. But overall, if you hit on Baker, your draft is successful. Again, if you hit on the quarterback, your draft is successful. So I gave him a B. So that was the Brown, who had a ton of picks. So let's see. Cincinnati picked at 21 overall. They took the center, Billy Price from Ohio State. I thought they needed a center. They drafted one, but the center they wanted actually went a pick before them, Ragnow from Arkansas. So they kind of reached for Billy Price, who was injured most of last season for Ohio State. Jesse Bates, the safety from Wake Forest, really good football player. I like him a lot. Sam Hubbard, Ohio State defensive end. And I thought they got really good value at number 78 overall, third round, and Malik Jefferson. I really like Malik Jefferson, a football player. I thought we should have drafted him. He's really good. And Mark Walden, running back from Miami. Really good running back. Got hurt middle of the season, so he missed a lot of last year. I think he's a really good running back. I gave him a C overall. They did draft the receiver in the 7th round, Alden Tate from Florida State. For all these Florida State fans, they took him in the 7th round. At 25, the Ravens, who had the 16th pick and moved back to 25th and took Hayden Hurst, tight end from Carolina, who had the number 1 ranked tight end on the board. They got him at 25, so they didn't reach. They got him in a good value position. Then they got back in the 1st round, took Lamar Jackson, who I really like as quarterback. Doesn't have to come in and play right away. Consider a year behind Joe Flacco. Learn some NFL defenses. Learn some NFL terminology. I love it. At 83 overall, they got Orlando Brown, the big offensive tackle, who I had as a top 50 player. Now his combine wasn't that great, so that's why he failed. But I had him as a top 50 player. He goes at 83 overall. At number 86 overall, they get Mark Andrews, another good receiving tight end. So they got 2 really good young tight ends who can catch the ball. Hurst a little better blocker than Andrews. So I thought they did really good. I like the draft by the Ravens. I love how they traded back. They got value. They got more picks, and they ended up with 3 4th-round picks. So I gave them an A. First A of the day. First A of the day. Yeah, I gave the Ravens an A. We come to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers. Oh my goodness. I thought they would take a linebacker or a cornerback. They had the 28th overall pick. They took Terrell Edmonds, the brother of Tremaine Edmonds. They took him at 28 overall, safety from Virginia Tech. I thought that was a reach. A lot of good cornerback was still on the board this time. Some linebacker was on the board. Then at number 60, they took James Washington, another receiver. just took Juju Smith last year. You already got Antonio Brown. You already got Jesse James at tight end. You got enough guys on offense. This team needs defensive players, and for them to take a receiver at the second round of the draft is just beyond crazy to me. Beyond crazy. Makes zero sense. They took Mason Rudolph, which I like Mason Rudolph, and I understand what they want to do. You how to get a quarterback to groom, but again, you need defensive help. And for them to only they took 2 safeties and a D lineman in the 7th round on a defense that we all know is pathetic at best. They needed a linebacker. We don't know. Ryan Shazier doesn't look like he's ever going to play football again. So they needed a linebacker. They didn't draft not one linebacker. They didn't need a receiver. They drafted a receiver. So I gave him a D. This draft made no sense. It made no sense to me whatsoever. I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. So that's the Steelers. D. We'll go to the NFC North since we're the AFC North. Let's go NFC North real quick. Run through some of these. At 8, Chicago Bears took Roquan Smith. I had that in my mock draft. I thought, hey, Chicago linebackers, man, come on. Dick Buckets Award winner. Where else he going but Chicago? Mike Singletary, Brian Urlacher, Roquan Smith. It fits. I thought it was perfect. They got James Daniels, the center from Iowa, the 39th overall pick, 2nd round. Love the kid tape. Really good center, really good football player. At 51 overall, you got Anthony Miller, wide receiver from Memphis. Really nice player. Like him a lot. They got Javon Williams, the receiver from Georgia in the 7th round. So for you Georgia fans, I gave him a B overall. The Lions had the number 20 overall pick. They took Frank Ragnow, best center in the draft. I also got Kerryon Johnson at 43 overall, the running back from Auburn. But again, Darius Geis is on the board. A couple other running backs on the board at the time. Johnson has some injury concerns. I don't know about that. That's questionable. They got Deshaun Hand in the 4th round at 114 from Alabama. I gave him a C. Let's go to this team right here. Green Bay Packers, which I gave a good grade. I almost gave him an A. I didn't. At 18, they got Jair Alexander, one of the best DBs in the draft. Just a ball-hawking DB, cornerback, physical, tackle, covers. You can do it all. At 45 overall, which I had them taking Josh Jackson in the 1st round. At 14, they get him at 45, so that's great value. I thought Josh Jackson may have been the 2nd best corner in this draft, and they get him in the 2nd round at 45. Then they get Jamon Moore, big receiver from Missouri. Like him a lot. They got the linebacker from Vanderbilt, Oren Burks. They needed a linebacker. They definitely need to short the secondary. I didn't think it would take 2 corners. I knew he needed 1. It took 2. So I like the draft a lot. I gave him a B+ for the Packers. And Minnesota, again, building depth. I thought they really got a great pick at number 30. They got Mike Hughes, the cornerback from Central Florida, who a lot of people had number 1. I mean, it's arguably he was between 2 and 5 cornerbacks. They had Ward 1, but then it was a mix: Josh Jackson, Isaiah Oliver, Mike Hughes, couple guys, Jair Alexander that I just mentioned that were in that range, and they get him at 30. Obviously, needed another cornerback after they couldn't stop Philadelphia in the NFC Championship games. They definitely need another cornerback. They got Brian O'Neill, the tackle from Pittsburgh. Not a whole lot of other big names. They got a kicker. They did get the kicker Daniel Carson from Auburn. So I gave him a C+. So that's the NFC North. And we'll get to the AFC West. AFC West. I'll go to Denver first. They had the 5th overall pick, and lo and behold, the Lord said, let Bradley Chubb fall right in their lap. I mean, some had the best player in the draft, 2nd, 3rd, somewhere in that range. He falls to Denver at 5. So you pair him with Von Miller. This is scary. Cortland Sutton, I like that pick, even though they already have Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas. Another big receiver who could develop into some. Like the Royce Freeman pick, hadn't had a running game in years. They did lose. They cut. I can't think of the guy's name. Anderson. Josie Jewell is a really good linebacker from Iowa. Deshaun Hamilton, a nice receiver from Penn State. Troy Fumagalli is a really good football player from Wisconsin, tight end. So I gave Denver an A also. At 15, the Oakland Raiders, they went from 10 to 15. They took Colton Miller. I have no idea why they took Miller that high. No one had Miller ranked that high. They needed secondary help. They needed DBs. They needed a safety. They ended up getting a cornerback, Nick Nelson, but they got him in the 4th round. He's coming off a serious injury that he just suffered at his pro day. They did get Arnke, who I like a lot, especially if his head right. But this draft made no sense to me again. I don't know what Oakland was doing at all. I gave him a C-. Chargers. I like the Chargers. They get Derwin James at 17, the safety from Florida State, which most people have a top 10 pick, so that's great value. Uchenna Nwosu, the edge rusher from USC, they get him at number 48 overall pick. They already got Bosa and Ingram, so they add another pass rusher. Justin Jones, D lineman from NC State, they needed a D tackle, so I gave him a B-. Kansas City. Not a whole lot of picks because they traded away most of their picks last year to get the Patrick Mahomes kids. So they didn't have a whole lot of picks, but they got Breland Speaks. They needed an edge rusher. Tom Howley is gone. Justin Houston is past his prime. They also got Derek Nowdy from Florida State, big D tackle. Dorian O'Daniel from Clemson also. So I gave him a C-. That's the AFC West. And last but not least, the NFC West. We'll run through the East real quick. The 49 had the 9th pick in the draft, and we selected Mike McGlinchey, offensive tackle. I thought it was a reach. They value need over value. So they basically said, we don't care where we pick it, we're taking a tackle because it's our biggest need. That's what they said. Because subsequently they traded the right tackle to the Patriots. So obviously this is a plug-and-play guy. So they absolutely just put a premium on the fact that we're taking this guy regardless of where we're picking it. So that was the thought behind it, obviously. And at 44 overall, they trade up to get the receiver Dante Pettis, who I mentioned earlier. Like him, got good size for receiver, can run, catches everything, had a huge season, had a big-time season two years ago for Washington, 15 TDs. Fred Warner is just a really good, solid in-the-box linebacker. He's going to be where he's supposed to be at. That was 70 overall. At number 95 overall, they got Tavarius Morris, safety for Southern Miss. And then I mentioned Contavious Street earlier, a guy who got forgetting a lot on that D line for NC State, but he's really, really good. And the injury kind of took him down to the route he went in. But overall, I gave him a C. I didn't think it was spectacular. I thought it was a good, above average draft. I didn't think nothing spectacular about it, but it could turn out to be if McClinchey turned out to be a 10-year, 12-year guy. Arizona Cardinals, and lo and behold, my number one quarterback in this draft fell to the Arizona Cardinals at 10. Fell in their lap. So Josh Rosen falls to 10 to Arizona. Love the fit. He's a West Coast kid, so he gets to stay out that way. They signed Sam Bradford, which he'll get hurt somewhere in the season. We don't know what game, but we can go ahead and guarantee Sam Bradford to get injured or hurt at some point during this season. So Rosen will get to see the field. Hopefully, he'll be ready to go. I think he can play from day one. Now he'll lose some games, but I'm comfortable in saying that I will put Josh Rosen in the game from day one if I'm Arizona. At number 47 overall, second round, they got Christian Kirk. Love Kirk, big time playmaker. Can learn from one of the best in Larry Fitzgerald. Can do some things. Josh Rosen, Christian Kirk. Love Mason Cole. Would have got him 97 overall, picked third round. Really good center from Michigan. That's pretty much the big names for it. They got Chase Edmonds is a really good running back from Fordham. If you haven't heard about him, he's really a really good running back to back up David Johnson. So I get him an A-. just because I love Josh Rosen. And you get the quarterback right, A-. Seattle Seahawks, I have no idea what the Seahawks were doing. I don't know what they're doing. They took a running back the first round, Rashad Penny, running back San Diego State. Good running back, not great, not elite, but a really good running back. They took an edge rusher from USC in the third round with the 79th pick. And, of course, the Shaquem Griffin pick going to get a lot of hype, which is the fifth round. But other than that, you look at this class, they needed offensive line help. They didn't get it. They needed D-line help to replace Michael Bennett. They didn't get it. They needed some secondary help to replace Richard Sherman. They didn't get it. I mean, they needed a receiver to help Russell Wilson out. They didn't do it. They got a tight end, but don't know much about Will Disley. I just don't know. I gave him a D. I don't know what the hell they were doing. And the Rams, who didn't have a whole lot of picks because of the Jared Goff trade, didn't get a whole lot out of this class. They only had a few picks, so I just gave them a C- because they, once again, you just been dealt. But they got the quarterback. So those are your grades, and I'm not going back through that again. You better watch the show on YouTube to see that again. So those are my grades. Line is still open, 864-378-5943. Any questions or comments about the draft, the playoffs? The game one on is right now. 76ers and Celtics are playing right now. Let me mention that my Braves are 16-11 right now. And they're a game and a half out of first place in the NL East Division. Got some nice young players starting to come along. Braves is 16-11. Lines are open. This is your part of the program if you want to call in and let your voices be heard. 864-378-5943. 378-5943. Stay here for a few more minutes. See if we're going to get some callers over here. 864-378-5943. You know what this is. Sentell. The hottest sports podcast in the South. The best damn sports podcast, period. With your host, Sentell Wideman. Been here talking about the NFL draft. I gave y'all my grades from each division by division. We talked NBA playoffs. I kind of bashed Kevin Love a little bit. But, hey, $22 million, you can be bashed. So, all right. Well, looks pretty quiet on the home front. I will segue out of here. Thank you for joining, tuning in, watching. Also, remember that if you didn't watch me live, you can catch the show on my YouTube channel. That's at Sentell's Intel. I will have that posted up probably about an hour. So if you didn't see the show live, you can catch it on my YouTube channel at Sentell's Intel. For those of you who didn't catch the show live. So I'm going to get out of here. Been fun. Again, I appreciate you guys if you watched or you listened, however you did it, but I appreciate you. And I'll probably be back Thursday, maybe. Who knows? I'm only doing, 1 week shows right now. This is a slow sports calendar, so time of the year. And I know all you people in the South only care about football, so I want to appease you. But if you didn't catch the show, tune in. Catch me on my YouTube channel at Sentell's Intel for the best damn sports podcast, period. Sentell's Intel. I will see you next time. I am out.